Stellar Blade has become my most anticipated release of 2024. We've gone from Star Wars to waifus on this channel, and I've already clocked about 30 hours in the demo, which makes it my most played demo ever. I've learned a lot about this game in that time, so in today's video, we're going over 10 things you need to know about Stellar Blade before it comes out on PS5 at the end of the month. Make sure to spank that thumbs up button. I'm aiming to put out the best Stellar Blade videos on YouTube, so consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell for more. Before we start, comment below if you're on Team Tacky or Team Eve. The winning team will get a shout out in my next video, so let us know which team you're on. I called Stellar Blade a Souls-like in a couple of videos before the demo dropped because that's exactly what it looked like to me and to many others. The combat system has a huge focus on movement, parries, and dodges, so I assumed that this would be another Souls-like in the same vein as Bloodborne or Nioh, but this is definitely more of an action-adventure game closer to Devil May Cry or the Jedi series. Nier Automata is the best point of comparison, and the developers themselves have talked about how much of an influence Nier was to the development of this game. They even went so far as to get the composer of Nier to make some of the music for Stellar Blade, so the similarities go beyond the gameplay. Souls-likes are more defined by their challenge style of gameplay, where you have to start back at the beginning when you fail, but Stellar Blade is a lot more linear and tells a consistent story from start to finish. And while some of the gameplay mechanics like parries and dodges are similar to Souls-like games, this is definitely an action-adventure title. If you're coming into this expecting a game like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, this ain't that. Stellar Blade has only two difficulty settings, easy and normal, but there's a hidden hard mode that can be toggled at will. If you're new to this genre, the easy mode might be a good place to start, but if you're a seasoned vet and you're looking for that challenge, the normal mode will be the way to go. But in either case, you can toggle a hard mode by removing the outfit our player character Eve is wearing. The costumes and visuals are a huge part of the appeal of this game, and the devs knew what they were doing. If you really want a feast for your eyes, you have to pay the price. The skin suit is the skimpiest look in the game, but it also makes the game much harder by completely getting rid of your shields. Normally, you have a shield meter below your health bar to help you tank some hits, but with the skin suit, the game more or less punishes you by making you take more damage per hit. This is clearly their take on Nier's self-destruct feature, where 2B loses her skirt but drops to 1 HP. At least here, we get to keep our health bar. You won't keep that health bar for long though if you don't know how to fight in this game. Stellar Blade has a really deep and thoughtful combat system. This is not a traditional hack and slash where you can just run in, spam your sword attacks, and expect to get a lot of kills. You can do that with some of the low-level, weaker enemies in the beginning, but that's not going to carry you very far. Every press of the button needs to be deliberate and meaningful, and the battles are a push and pull between you and the opponent. We see this best demonstrated in boss fights, where you have to take time to whittle down the enemy's shield bar, their balance bar, and ultimately the health bar, all while keeping your health up. I'll have a video going into the complexities of combat once we get closer to the game's release, so if you want some good tips, I recommend subbing so that you know when those videos come out. There's a lot of really nice subtleties to the combat, like the fact your hitbox follows the animation, not your position. You can legit jump over an attack and avoid it if your combo has a jump animation. Most games would still let you get hit, so these details are really nice. The exploration in Stellar Blade is so much better than I initially gave it credit for. I've ran through the demo so many times now, but every time I did, I always found a new secret or some treasure chest that I missed the time before. There's a lot of hidden areas that require you to climb or swing to, and these are marked by a yellow paint that lets you know that you can climb up it, and it can be pretty easy to miss some of these. The drone buddy that you have with you has a really useful scan feature to locate some of these hard-to-see spots, so before you move on to a new area, it's always worth scanning to see what's around you. There's also a bunch of boxes and statues and other things in the world that you can smash up with your sword, and these will have random item drops like materials for upgrades or new outfits or just some gold. The scan will also pick up these items, but only after you've smashed the box with the sword, so make sure to break everything. There's also powerful upgrades in the form of body cores and beta cores that you want to find. Collecting 3 of each of these will upgrade your health and beta energy. Shift Up CEO, who is also the director of Stellar Blade, has been very clear with us from the beginning that his game will not have any microtransactions or any other surprise expenses besides what we pay for the game. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but in the day and age of battle passes and microtransactions and studios trying to constantly nickel and dime players for minimal content, this is a really nice change of pace. As a single-player game, this won't be a live service kind of thing, even though the team will be updating the game going forward. But the fact that the CEO has to flex and say that in the first place just speaks volumes about where the video game industry is at right now. But I don't think us players are complaining about this. You're telling me that I pay full price and actually get a full game at launch? Good deal.
Shut up and take my money!
The only exception to this would be if ShiftUp collaborated with another company and made an outfit with them, for example. Imagine a Lucasfilm collaboration where they give Eve a Slave Leia outfit from Episode 6.
Please, God.
Lucasfilm would need a cut of that licensed content, so ShiftUp would have to charge for that skin. So something like that is the only time we'd have to shell out any extra cash, but in that specific instance, I'd say it's worth it. This game has been in development for many years now, and the developers recently said that Eve's hair took an additional year of development time all by itself, which is crazy to think about. The team is right at the finish line with this game's release, and they're focused on making it as polished as possible. They've revealed that in the interest of making the main game the best it can be, Stellar Blade will not release with a photo mode or a New Game Plus feature. But with that said, the CEO revealed that there will be future updates that bundle in new outfits for Eve, and there will eventually be an update that introduces a New Game Plus, so it is on the way. A photo mode is also very much on the table, and the CEO encourages plenty of feedback from fans. If they get enough feedback for a photo mode, then it is something they will look at adding in the future. I think it's something all players could get behind, so let's show them how much we would like it in the comments. With enough luck, they might actually see this video and all the requests. The director also mentioned the possibility for a sequel to Stellar Blade. In a recent interview he did, he was asked about how old some of the characters in the game are and whether or not we can find out Eve's age during the playthrough. He said that information won't be in this first game, but if we play this first Stellar Blade and enjoy it and want more, then that information will be shown in the sequel. Basically confirming he'd love to make another game. It really comes down to how well this first one does. I would love to see Stellar Blade become a standalone franchise with future installments. Stellar 2, Stellar 3, and even some spin-off games would be nice and really put this game up there as an instant classic. If Eve can get enough fame and notoriety, she could be another character that's instantly recognizable alongside the greats like Mario and Kratos. This is going to be a semi-open world game, meaning these maps that we explore are absolutely massive in scale. We know of 3 distinct areas that make up the world of Stellar Blade: Zion, the desert, and the wasteland. And each of these areas have a number of supply camps that we can rest and resupply at. At these camps, there's a payphone that is our fast travel feature in this game. Since the maps are so big, it would take an eternity to keep going back and forth on foot, so the fast travel is an excellent idea. It's becoming more and more of a staple feature in games like this. I'll never forget when Jedi Fallen Order first came out and everybody universally agreed it was such a slog to get back to the ship after finishing a planet. The lack of a fast travel feature is felt way more than if it's in there, so this was a great call by the devs. If you're considering buying this game, the first thing to know is that it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Unfortunately, Xbox, PC, and Switch players won't be able to play this on their respective systems. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel for PC specifically. Sony wants PC ports of their exclusive games to be a little bit more frequent, and earlier this year, in a post-earnings call Q&A session, Sony's president said that he wants PlayStation to go, quote, aggressive on improving our margin performance, with multi-platform games playing a significant role. And by multi-platform, he specifically meant PC. In the past, we wanted to popularize consoles, and a first-party title's main purpose was to make that console popular. This is true, but there's a synergy to it. So if you have a strong first-party content, not only on our consoles, but also other platforms like PC, a first-party game can be grown with multi-platform in mind, and that can help improve profits. So that's another one we want to proactively work on. So it's not just Stellar Blade, but Sony in general is making a shift toward getting their first-party content on PC. It took games like Spider-Man and God of War a good 4 years before getting a PC port, but Stellar might get one a lot sooner if Sony can make it happen, so I've got my fingers crossed for the master race. Stellar Blade is set in a post-apocalyptic Earth, and with a strong feminine lead character, the soundtrack does a great job at immersing us in that world and representing the emotions Eve might be feeling in her story. I'm a musician also, not just a YouTuber, so having great music is a must for me in video games, and I mentioned it before, Stellar Blade does not disappoint in this department. The mixture of hopeful vocal tracks on top of a futuristic and almost cyberpunk-feeling instrumental is a great combo. I couldn't quite put my finger on it before, but the music really reminds me of Kingdom Hearts, and I realized that was because of the piano and the violin tracks, which play off of each other really well. It's exactly what a lot of Kingdom Hearts tracks do. These songs in Stellar give a more human vibe though, with the vocal tracks, and give the game its own unique identity. The composer for a lot of these songs was Keiichi Okabe, who also composed a lot of the music for Nier Automata. If you played Nier and noticed the same vibe, that's exactly why, and it's a nice way of bringing these games together. Stellar Blade has made tsunamis on the internet though, and it's not exactly hard to see why. The game is releasing on April 26th on PS5, so we're almost there. If there's any Stellar Blade videos you guys want to see, let me know in the comments. I read every comment you guys leave, which probably isn't good for the mental health, but that's part of the job, baby. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, be sure to leave a like, and once again, consider subscribing for more Stellar videos. That's going to be all from me for today. This has been Star, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.